Hey, great morning, you guys. I am here on TikTok just to share my gratitude for people in my life that actually taught me about meditation. Sometimes people, when you express certain things to them with regards to what you have learned and particular strategies you utilize for balance within your own life, and then also what you teach others, sometimes they make assumptions about where the source of the information came from because of how they were introduced to it. So remember having a conversation maybe like a few weeks ago, and I mentioned how I was adding meditation or guided meditations to my website, and it's a strategy I've utilized for many years. But ultimately, they associated that strategy with Stormy, and so I'm not saying that name to try to do any sort of like clout chasing or anything like that. Neither am I mentioning the name to not give credit towards someone who is a coach that has been able to utilize that particular method and for it to work well. The reason why I'm saying that is because that was the context of where maybe they learned and whom they were around who taught them. So, with consideration of myself, I first actually learned while I was young the concept of meditation from my pastor, who is Bishop Designate Apostle Pastor Cynthia G. West in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Now, I actually, on my own accord, began to focus on improving upon the form of meditation or forms of meditation when I moved to New Hampshire and was working on my doctorate. I did a lot of research on meditation, found how effective it was with consideration of consistency of the use of meditation, where one could actually literally reset their nervous system, especially if someone is used to being in fight or flight mode, which is the sympathetic nervous system, because sometimes when a person has dealt with chronic trauma, that means a lot of times it's like they're unable to really completely shut off the sympathetic nervous system to be in parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest mode, which is the reason why a lot of people with trauma, or not everyone, but sometimes they can have intestinal concerns, irritable bowel syndrome, things of that nature, end up having heart concerns because of the fact that they are unable to actually reset their nervous system in a way to actually go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. So that's kind of the short answer with regards to working with a number of clients for about 20 years. But my experience with meditation, really, the focus of it, the intent as far as research, the intent as far as particular spiritual perspectives, with consideration of meditation, I went on the journey of learning meditation through Dr. Walter Lowe Jr., who is actually an African American gentleman, licensed marriage and family therapist, and PhD in marriage and family therapy. And he taught me meditation again, but a new form, while I was in New Hampshire. And that was in 2009. So since 2009, I've had the research as well as another spiritual perspective regarding the methodology of meditation. Now, again, just like I said, the concept was taught to me from a Christian pastor, Apostle Cynthia G. West, Bishop Designate Cynthia G. West. So it was a black woman and then a black man. And both of them, and I'm going to say their age, but they are definitely wise people. And I would say not only as individuals, but then also as spiritual leaders, because again, Apostle Designate is a pastor in a non-denominational church, and then Walter Lowe Jr., Dr. Walter Lowe Jr., he is a yogi in his own right, as a Buddhist. And so those are the two people that taught me, and I want to make sure that I say it because I have never met Coach Stormy. Would I have not, if I had an opportunity to, would I? I probably would, but at the same time, I just want to make it clear that I didn't learn meditation from her. So when people start saying, oh, what is it like? Who are you like? Well, it's because it's the context of who you know and who maybe you consider with regards to meditation. But I also have to make sure I say this, is that meditation is a method that has been around almost as long as people have been alive. Meditation has been utilized for so long. Jesus probably learned how to meditate as a baby, okay? So the reason why I'm saying that is because sometimes when people are known for particular strategies, we still have to make sure we honor the historical context of the strategies which exist. Here's another reason why history matters. Because meditation would not exist. We would not have so many forms of meditation, and so many people would not be meditating if it had not been for the history of understanding meditation and then integrating it within the spiritual practices of many religions. And what most people don't know is that meditation has been part of the Christian belief system since the formation of the belief system and before the Bible itself was written, which is the reason why meditation is actually written within the Bible. But there are other spiritual belief systems that also integrate, and it's very much so a part of the practice to meditate. So as a Christian, it is not only my right, but it's biblically appropriate to pray and meditate and read the scripture. So the reality is that sometimes people, will be given credit for what really is something that's been around well before we were even calling therapists, or spiritual practitioners. So y'all have a great day, and just let's, be mindful of ourselves, mindful of also honoring those that have gone on before us, our own heritage, our ancestry, where we come from, and also what we can utilize consistently that can also go with us to the future. And that will be relevant in the future and relevant now. Okay, so y'all have a great one.